Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday evening, which means we're here at the Talladega Challenge at RollingThunderGaming.com. Thank you very much for watching a Tarnation TV production, streaming live on the YouTube machine on Tarnation TV and the Flat Out Racing Network. Of course, you have to remember, this is season number 66, sponsored by Redline Performance Motorsports and Rodney Sullins Paints. Thanks, guys, for making this possible. My name is Blaine Donlin, and of course I'm joined here by the Flat Out Racing Network, the legendary comedy and commentary crew of Michael Norman and Seth Cole this evening. Good day,
Comedy's
sir.
definitely right.
Where'd Seth go? Take it away, Seth.
Yeah, I was going to say, wow, Seth is not here.
Oh, I heard Michael talk. I thought he was going to lead us in here. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
going to take my job. But no, I mean, incredible season we've been treated to, getting ready for the 7th race. 3 races, including tonight, until we put together the at least 12 drivers that we're going to see compete for the championship. And last week was an interesting one where we ended up seeing maybe a playoff spoiler victory from Ken Roberts. Ken came into that race having only accumulated 14 points prior. Now, his goal going forward is to try to get into the top 20 in the point standings before the completion of race 9. The issue is he's not in the field here tonight. So the likelihood of him accumulating enough points, I would think, in the next 2 races to get into the top 20 is unlikely. So that is a victory that is, in a sense, kind of null and void for drivers that are looking to win their way into the postseason, making putting a lot more pressure, I think, on those drivers that are trying to win their way into a playoff spot that haven't had the first half of this regular season get off to a great start. Here tonight, Michael, I feel like it's not necessarily panic mode time, but if you've had trouble in these first 6 races, it's got to turn around now, because I don't think 2 races are enough time to be able to get into a playoff situation outside of a must-win.
I mean, it's always tough when you're on a outside working your way in there, you know, especially if you're not able to point your way in over the next 3 races, because you know, you get 38 plus drivers in here aside from, you know, us commentary. It's a little difficult to gain those spots because the person you're chasing could also be like right behind you pushing you. But on the flip side of that, the guy you're chasing points could also have a very terrible day. It's 1 point per position, and that's what makes winning so much more, you know, efficient to get yourself into the playoffs compared to trying to point your way in. So it's stressful no matter what if you're outside the top 10.
And we've seen really drivers have difficulty establishing a sense of consistency this season. Just about everybody, whether they're up inside of the top 10 or currently down 20th through 30th, they have been up and down in the finishing results. Even Chuck McClure, who was running a 5-race top 10 streak last week, was caught up in a wreck, ending that streak at 5 races. Granted, he's got those 2 victories on the season. He still has the points lead, but not by much. It's a blanket of 5 points separating the top 4 in the standings coming into tonight. But even what we saw last week out of McClure getting caught up in a wreck, just about everybody has had to overcome some kind of adversity in these first 6 races, and the task is going to get as tough, if not tougher, here down the home stretch of the regular season. 4 drivers are currently locked into the playoffs with their victories. 2 victories for Chuck McClure, Grant Wesley, Denny Carroll, Joe DeSpirito with 1 victory apiece, and a number of drivers have found enough consistency, I guess we'll say, to find themselves up inside the top 10 in points. I'm looking at drivers like Brian Schilling, 3rd in the standing, Josh Metallic in 5th, Bernie Mobbs in 7th, John Godfrey in 8th. With these drivers being able to find enough consistency and accumulate enough points coming into tonight, are these some of the drivers that we're looking at this evening to maybe find victory lane, or do we need to look deep in the running order like we did last week with Ken Roberts for somebody maybe outside of the top 15, top 20 to go to victory lane tonight?
Boom, there
That's
it
your
is.
answer.
I was going to say, Seth, you were talking about Ken Roberts taking that win last week. He was actually stripped of that win. In the post-race, he was docked 1 lap. On lap 53, entering the pits, he came into contact with the 880, causing damage to the 880, so he was penalized 1 lap for that. So he did not get the win last week.
So then,
wow.
Who was second place?
I'm trying to remember who it was.
I think it was McClure. I'd have to go back and check the stat sheet.
McClure suffered a DNF. I'm
Oh,
gonna
he
have to
did.
go back and take a look too.
Yeah. So whoever
you're
was
gonna
in.
have to definitely take a look at that because I'd like to. Whoever finished second last week was the actual winner of the race.
Yeah, because the week before, I forgot to check the penalty report. So some of the stats might have been off on my screen. So this week I remembered to do it. And yeah, Ken Roberts, he texted me after that race. He instantly claimed that. And yeah, so he does not have a win.
All right, so we'll check back on that. And
Bob Seminara. It is Bob Seminara.
Seminara. So the question would be, though, would it just be an encumbered win for the 55, so nobody technically gets credited for the victory to lock themselves into a playoff spot? Because looking at the updated standings coming into tonight, that's why I didn't actually know about this post-race penalty that Roberts got, because the 4 drivers that I mentioned, McClure, Wesley, Carroll, and Despirito, they're the only ones with a crooked number in the win column. Looking right now at Bob Seminara, who currently is 18th in points, they don't have a 1 in the win column there. So I almost wonder if the win is kind of null and void there, since it may have been encumbered for Ken Roberts. And while Seminara may have gotten the points for a victory, it may not have statistically gone down as a victory for the driver of the 712. I don't know. That'll be an interesting thing to kind of follow up on.
I'm going to get clarification for that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Here, just a minute.
Interesting. After 66 seasons, we'll always find something in the rule book that we forgot to read, you know? I mean, the rule book at this league being around for 20, 25 years is literally like a phone book by now. So this is in there somewhere, but yeah, I have a feeling you're probably correct. I'm thinking Seminara would have got the points for the win, but wouldn't have been credited with a win.
So
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I almost think might have been what happened. Otherwise, we probably would have seen a 1 in the win column for Seminara coming into tonight. So we'll follow up on that here and see. I mean, Seminara, regardless of whether it was
according to my source, she said that even Bob didn't even know about this.
Okay.
Maybe that's why.
All right, so we'll see if we can continue to try and follow up on this story here and see if Bob would be locked in, getting credited for the victory, or at least getting the points for the victory last week, or if indeed that win in terms of a lock-in spot is null and void. But we're getting ready to go racing here tonight. Race number 7 of the season is green. Tim Nofsker had Terry Bombard, who was outside, and someone's lost a gear. I believe Robert Spring lost a gear in the middle of the pack, so it looks like we may end up getting a restart here.
Will we? That's the question.
Pretty sure if there's a mechanical failure, like a gear lost on the initial start of the race, I believe they do restart it. At least it's not nearly the circumstances we had last week, where we had a car that had the game tabbed out sitting in the middle of 1 and 2.
That was actually frightening. Like, we were watching that going, oh, what's going to happen?
Me off screen screaming at my TV or screaming.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Because I was in the Discord with Kyle and Seth watching from their perspective too, and I saw that and I'm just screaming.
Yeah, that was about 6 or 7 laps in. It was into the race a little bit, but yeah, they did a restart on that one.
They may not actually restart here. I thought that it looked like they froze the field and have actually raced back.
Restart.
Okay, so no caution, and there were a number of big drivers that got caught up in that, including a couple of former winners on the season, and Joe Despirito and Chuck McClure. Bernie Mobbs, who's top 10 in the points. Mark Paglia also got a piece. And Brian Schilling got a little tap at the end into Despirito. So that's, right by my count, 4 drivers that came into this race inside of the top 7 in the standings.
Yeah, you can see there in the replay, I'm in the cockpit right now, that needle is bouncing off $9,000 right when he went into third. Obviously he lost third gear, so he'll be able to continue. Third's not a horrible loss. I mean, any gear is a horrible loss, but it could have been worse. 4th, your race would be done. At least he still has 4th.
I mean, I once lost a gear at New Hampshire. That was, I think, a second gear, I believe.
Mm.
And I still managed to finish top 10 with it.
Yeah, in the case of third gear at a super speedway like Talladega, if you've got somebody behind you that's aware of your situation, you can get a bump at just the right time when you upshift from second to fourth to get you those miles per hour that you're lacking. Second gear is a killer to lose at this racetrack, especially on restarts. And as you mentioned, Blaine, you lose fourth gear, you're basically done. You're puttering around under third gear, just waiting for the engine to blow up.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to watch Spring to see how he manages that missing third. Like you said, a good time bump. If he's got good people behind him that want to give him a little bit of a hand, you'll have those drafting partners, so it could be okay.
They almost got past Spring there without incident. It was just an uneven bump from Mike Mangialardi into the back of Bernie Mobbs, and Mangialardi really couldn't back off because he had Brian Rawson into the back of him. I think a lot of drivers weren't necessarily aware of what was happening up ahead at the time. All they knew was they were closing in on a car, and the initial reaction, of course, is to let off the throttle, and other drivers behind not having the information that Spring had the gear loss. Obviously, the contact made is on initial start or a restart, you try to be as close up to the bumper of the driver in front of you so your line gets going once the green flag drops. So just unfortunate timing there from the middle of the pack through. Going to be interesting to see about that 24 of Joe DeSpirito, because most drivers that were involved didn't really see any visible damage, no major contact. However, there was some significant contact on the right side door of the Exalta Chevrolet. I don't know if that's just cosmetic, just visual, or if that is going to affect him aerodynamically for the rest of this race.
Just zoom in on Bob Seminara here and take a look at that. So, according to the stats, I guess, yeah, I put him down as a finish in second. So we're going to give confirmation on that. Currently in 17th place overall in points, 139 points. He got +9 of a change after last week's finish, which puts him 83 points away from first place. Started in the first 6 races in the season, has had only 2 laps, but has 3 top 10 finishes, 2 of which being top 5. And then we just found out there that race number 6 would have been technically a first place finish or a second place finish. Either way, it's a fantastic finish. Because if you were watching last week, there was a couple of fairly elaborate accidents, to say the least. Yes. So to stay in front of all of that, he qualified 32nd, so he made his way to the front. Lottery qualifying, too, we should mention. The drivers here on Thursday don't actually race their qualifying speed. They just throw the dice, and wherever you land, you land. And congratulations, Seth, on your second place qualifying start.
Yeah, you got Terry Bombard up there. He's the placeholder of the outside of the front row there. And Oscar wouldn't have had a dancing partner if Bombard hadn't pulled up alongside. But I find it interesting, going back to what you were talking about there with Seminara, 6 races into the season, and a driver that finishes up in the podium still manages to gain 9 spots in the stands. We're talking about outside of the top 15, inside of the top 30. The points are still that close that a finish inside of the top 5 can get you that many spots in the standings.
Yeah, the 1 point difference is major. Is it a 5 point difference for first?
I believe so. Yeah, if you win, you get an extra 5 bonus points.
But the rest of the field's only separated by 1 for each position. So that always, you know, any kind of gain like that, especially when you see like 9 positions. And I mean, that's drivers also not being able to show up. But, you know, it's pretty consistent every week. The same crew will be here. There's, you know, give and take half a dozen people, I find. But like, we haven't seen Ulysses Sandoval the last couple of weeks, but he's back in here today, currently running in 35th. Yeah, he missed last week.
Of his own accord.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and some of these guys, they just race so much, and there's so many different leagues you can race in. A game that came out in 2003, there's lots of options, which is great.
Absolutely.
Like, we're getting ready to go back green here. We did have about a dozen drivers come down pit road. Some may have taken on some tires, but for the most part, drivers topping off the fuel tank, and of course the drivers involved getting damage in that stack-up came down pit road to get those repairs done.
Big gap there between rows 2 and 3.
I'm showing a couple drivers even took 2 pit stops on that yellow.
Yep.
Whatever you can to top off.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, right? You keep that tank full, you can kind of offset your strategy if we go green.
And a lot of times that thought process is being able to have the luxury of pitting a lap or two after the big packs come down pit road, not maybe getting swept up in somebody else's mess if the highway traffic doesn't necessarily pan out. Tim Knopfsker, who started on the pole position, leading the way ahead of Grant Wesley. Knopfsker's another driver who didn't make a start this season and subsequently finds himself 25th in the standings. A win certainly would help him out in the home stretch of the regular season to lock up a spot in the playoffs. I look at a lot of drivers, too, that are down around that cut line. We know that regardless of if they've won or not, the top 12 in points when the checkered flag waves at the conclusion of race 9, they will lock in to the playoff grid. There's a lot of names down there like Greg Palmer, Brian Rawson, Donnie Garrett, Rodney Summers, Jessica Loreley. If they end up finding victory lane here tonight, that's a huge weight off of their shoulders. They don't necessarily then have to worry about every point every week. They know that they're locked into the postseason, so that might be a little extra added motivation for those drivers hovering just above, on, or below the cut line.
New leader Grant Wesley in the 88.
He did that rather easily, too. Jumped up there in front of Milt Surratt, got the push down the straightaway, cleared across the nose of Knopfsker, and jumped down to the bottom. As soon as he left that outside line, Milt Surratt's kind of faded back to side-by-side with Bob Seminara, so I don't know necessarily...
There's too many 8s up here.
There are a lot of 8s.
Oh, we got a wreck.
And it's a big one in the corner.
Dennis
We got several up and over. Craig Hagley and Schilling.
Dennis McCarthy blew his motor. That's what triggered this.
RJ Cabana up on his side. He'll come back down all 4 wheels. Saw Ron Hagelin badly damaged.
You say McCarthy with an engine loss. I gotta check that out.
Yes.
We'll ride in the cockpit with him and we'll show you what that looks like.
That's the second mechanical failure here to bring out a caution. There were a lot of drivers collected up in this one. Doug Woolley, Chuck McClure was in this one again. Greg Palmer was up and over. Mike Mangialardi, Jeff Ravello.
Yep, complete silence going into the turn. Holy moly.
That's about a half dozen cars that went up and over at that point in time. Oh, man, Bob Dixon, how in the world did he get through that? A little hip check to Mike Mangialardi, but there was just enough room for a car to fit through, and he was able to find the gap.
Wow, so many cars flipping over each other.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. In the catch fence.
Schilling actually went right over top of McCarthy.
I want to know how Cody Lamas made it through that. I want to see if it was typical Cody Lamas fashion.
Schilling came into this race.
Schilling almost had it cleared.
He did. And he came into this race 4 points out of the points lead. Had an opportunity here tonight to jump to the top of the standings, but have damage after he went up and over the 0-24. Greg Palmer was on the cut line.
You never know what can happen to the person in front of you.
True. Not only that, but a number of the drivers collected up in this are in that bracket challenge, as we've currently entered into the 3rd week. We're down to our final 8, if you will, in the winner side of the bracket.
What would you call
Chuck
that flip the
McClure
111
and Brian
did?
Rawson were both in the middle of that.
the 111 did like a weird kind of half backflip sideways spinorama corkscrew. That's pretty good. You get points for that. Just watching all the angles, a lot of cars upside down. I'm going to go focus on, I think you said the 143 of
the 143.
Dixon. Was able to thread that needle.
Went back and watched that flip of Hagelin again. He would have gotten pretty good score in Skate 3. The only problem is he didn't land it.
Look at Bob. It's like the seas just parted. He drove right through there. Perfect.
He was able to split Mangialardi and Despirito. So looking right now at the drivers involved, I believe that the 6 of Brian Rawson, he was at least in the middle of it. I don't know if he got just minimal contact or whatnot, but he and Chuck McClure were both back in that vicinity, and I know Chuck got a little bit of extra damage from that wreck. Those two come into the night battling each other, a 1 versus 24 seed in the bracket challenge, and Brian Schilling, who we saw get caught up in that, he's taking on Billy Elliser. So if Schilling is not up to speed and Elliser is able to finish this race up to speed and in the lead group, then Elliser more than likely could be eliminating the 2-time in a row bracket challenge champion. And then now, granted, Schilling will still have an opportunity at the title, as once we wrap up the winner's side of the bracket, there's still going to be another 3-4 weeks on the loser's side of the bracket to figure out who the second finalist is going to be. So Schilling will still have a path towards the finals. Again, this is all speculation that Schilling does not finish ahead of Mangialardi here tonight. And I have confirmation that will be the case. Number of drivers out of the race after that incident, including Ulysses Sandoval, Bernie Mobbs, Dennis McCarthy, Ron Hagelin, Jeff Crivello, Brian Schilling, and Craig Hagley. So a half dozen drivers out of the race after the second caution on the night.
That's unfortunate for Hagley because I actually had him. A little scorecard for him, too. Started all 7 races this season, number 66, currently in 9th overall. 2 top 10 finishes, has led 4 laps of the 396 laps that we've run in 6 weeks. Last week qualified 20th, finished 11th, currently in 9th with 171 points, plus 2 change, 51 points away from first. So that's a big one from 9th place to have to be retiring this early, but he was one of the cars. I didn't focus on it, but I saw him. He got upside down as well.
And he's put together such a great season so far. 1 top 5, 2 top 10s, as you said, up there inside the top 10 in the standings, was sitting in a playoff position, but finishing 38th out of 38 drivers here tonight is certainly going to take a plummet in the standings. More than likely will fall below that 12th in the standings cut line and have 2 more races in the regular season to try to recover those points, get back into playoff contention. Well, Jeffrey Elliott has not
Must be on his
all the
own
leaders
strategy.
came down pit road here under this caution. All the drivers that pit under the first yellow came down as well. The 56 currently sits roughly about 8 to 9 laps shorter on fuel than everyone else around him.
Well, if you've ever raced with Jeffrey Elliott, though, I don't know where this guy puts all the fuel, but he has finished some crazy races that seem mathematically impossible. So, if anybody knows fuel strategy, it's Jeff. I've watched him conserve fuel by basically driving on the grass just to take the shortest way around the track. And I don't know how it works, but it works sometimes.
Pretty slick-looking paint scheme there on that 56 here tonight as well. That Mountain Dew Voltage Blue Lightning Chevrolet.
You can see
Rodney
the little
Sullins.
badge behind the tire, the Rodney Sullins paint shop.
And speaking of, Rodney right behind him in the second position. Rodney, another driver that's hovering right around that 12th in the standings cut line.
Do you think Rodney driving the 38 painted the 38? I'm going to say yes.
I think that's a pretty safe bet.
I wonder if he's ever driven somebody else's car, like somebody else's paint job.
That's a good question.
He paints so many cars.
Hey,
I feel like I should make
him
him
top
one.
3. We can ask him.
Right?
Yeah.
Throw that one away for an interview question.
I feel like I should just do one for him and see if he runs it.
Right?
He's literally got 7,000 cars for every mod. He would never need anybody to paint one for him. But you know what, Roddy? Maybe you take a break. Maybe we get mods or
He
Divins
doesn't want me to commission it. He doesn't want me to
You
commission.
paint him a
paint
car,
scheme for him.
he goes out and wins in it. Your DMs are going to be blowing up every time. Hey, I need
Yeah.
a car. I need a car.
Yeah.
He wouldn't want me to commission the paint scheme for him. He doesn't know what he'd get. Seth does, though. Seth's seen the wide variety of paint schemes that I race.
Mostly Cletus nowadays.
Well, listen, I am a big fan of Cletus, okay?
Whoa, race leader just disappeared. And he's
Uh-oh.
back. He's on the
Oh,
back
he's-
straightaway.
Down below the apron, out of harm's
Ooh.
way. Give the momentum to the outside lane now.
Wow.
I mean,
Suddenly, the 38 finds himself the first car on the inside line.
we're in the month of October. We're in spooky season. And
That's
I don't know.
crazy.
There's been some
Speaking
freaky
of-
things going on here tonight. We had the gear blow at the initial start. We had the engine failure going into turn 3. We haven't really seen an engine failure like that at the front of the field in a long time. And then Jeffrey Elliott disappears while battling for the
Why don't you
lead.
Plug your Talladega race this year.
Going to be on Saturday, October 25th, running the Talladega racetrack. PR Gen
Updated
6
or
mods.
updated or
Fine updated, because updated would mean I think it was 2015 when we updated it from from 2013. So not really updated, so to speak.
10
but
years? Holy cow!
Yeah,
Have we really been running Talladega for 10 years?
it's an oldie but a goodie.
Nice.
Feel old.
That's crazy too. You can have a car disappear, and then Jeff clearly knew what was happening, just got out of the way and slammed on the brakes so he would come hit, pop back into the middle of the pack. Cost him a ton of track position.
Jess,
But
careful.
Yeah, more than likely on Jeff's end, everybody disappeared.
yeah,
So
Probably why
he
he
knew.
just pulled to the inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lucky it happened on the straightaway. It is so difficult as a driver to figure out where do I need to go.
You know what just popped into my head? Remember when I think we were under pacing one race many, many, many years ago, and our good buddy Charles Jackson disappeared, and we were all like, "Oh, where is he gonna go?" And then he reappears in Charles Sanford's car.
Yes,
and they
he
both
did.
Go flying.
And that's what makes you the most nervous when a car disappears at a super speedway, is the wherewithal like Jeff does, and they just continue to run their line. Obviously, there is a difference at a super speedway. When you disappear and everyone else disappears on your screen, you've lost draft. So you are not running as fast as the drivers in the pack. So you actually are going to migrate a couple of positions further back from the spot you disappeared to the spot where you would reappear. And so a lot of drivers that were running that inside line were thinking, am I going to be the one that the 56
Was he able
reappears
to
in?
hold on? Was he able to hold on?
Fortunately,
to the
Jeff,
back
a
this
veteran
group,
of
though?
this,
Oh, okay.
No,
I was
he
wondering who that
wasn't.
last car in this group was.
he's currently back with a group, Bernie Mobbs and Mark Paglia, who both were caught up in a couple of the previous incidents. I believe they both actually were involved in the stack-up on the initial start of the race, and they've got some aero damage that they're dealing with for the remainder of tonight's event. We
Another
talked
car-
about Bob Seminara there, kind of being gifted the points last week, race win points. Up here at the front, he wants to get official victory here tonight.
So Hewlett runs the 23, right?
Correct.
That was another penalty that happened last week, too. He was actually parked for this race. That's why he's not here tonight. Last week in race number 6 on lap 12, let me see, I read the penalty report here. The driver never shifted into second gear and it causes an accident. This was the second incident on the 23 in the race, and he did not park his car. Scoring is stopped on lap number 12 and parked for race 7. And of course, that means when he comes back in race number 8, he will be a one in park and will not be able to qualify. So that's unfortunate for the 23.
Yeah, and he's had a tough season too. I believe he's around 40th, I think it's 44th actually in the points. But a tough season for him. And to your point, just kind of gets worse there with not being able to run here tonight, missing out on those valuable points. And with no Ken in the field here tonight, 1 week removed from his victory, and last week was a big question mark of would he be able to accumulate enough points. With 2 races left after tonight, very unlikely that Doug Kulik would be able to make a run to get into the playoffs. I think even if he won the last 2 races of this regular season, I don't think that'd be enough points to get up in the top 20. Kind of interesting. I don't know if with the drivers involved specifically in that second wreck, if we just don't have enough drivers up to speed to generate energy for a third line. I noticed earlier on in the race, Brian Schilling and others, they were trying to get a third lane going, but for the most part, since we went back green on Lappin, nobody has really ventured up there. Been a couple of drivers, but nobody's been fully committed to trying to get a third line going. We've been pretty much staying in the first 2 grooves.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because some weeks, three wide right away, right out of the gate. And today they've just been picking away in 2 lanes here.
And I almost wonder if maybe now that we've crossed the halfway threshold of the regular season, that might be. Drivers were, for the first 2-3 races, they were kind of in that must-win mentality, trying to lock up early spots in the playoffs, and now a lot of drivers are looking around, they're seeing that nobody has really been able to consistently finish week after week after week up at the front, and they're saying, just in the off chance that I run into an issue in the next couple of weeks, I need to get myself up here, get a solid top 5, top 10, accumulate some points. Big picture race here for the home stretch of this regular season, just in case something goes wrong in the final 2 races.
Always got to have those backups. God, I love how even these lines are, even with the difference in cars. Just runs side by side like that. We have the 088 on top, the 88 being pushed by the 80.
Speaking of these cars, this is the swan song season for the Xfinity mod. Some news this past week season 67, they'll be transferring back to the Men Cup 2019 mod, the mod that they were running back when FRN first started broadcasting the Talladega Challenge Series. And I noticed that Rodney Sullivan's paints was dusting off a couple of the old schemes from back in the day. May have some nostalgia next season with some schemes that we haven't seen for, gracious, 7, 8, 9 seasons.
Great mod, too. Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series 2019 Craftsman Truck Series Physics, also known as Manx 19 CTS.
In my humble opinion, the best mod to be able to push at a super speedway with.
It is a good one. See, they ran the 09 trucks here for a while too, and then there's
they did.
There's the 15 trucks. They ran the Aero 88. We're in the Xfinity 2020.
Yes.
Right now, and it's like, what haven't they done here really at Rolling Thunder Gaming? But that's cool. That Monster Energy 19 mod is tried and true.
Well, I can tell you what they haven't run, and I threw it out as a suggestion. They haven't run the communist buses yet, and they haven't run the Cube mod yet.
Yeah, and they haven't run Mystical's go-kart mod either.
Yep.
No, Seth, they needed to adapt the Squares mod.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cube mod.
The Cube
Either
mod.
the Cube
Could
mod
you imagine?
or even the Wee mod, the little clown cars. There you go.
The Wee mod. What about this? I thought that was like snowmobile cars. That's what we should have raced at Christmas Miracle.
Or a great mod that would make no sense at a super speedway, like the Vintage Truck Series 65. That's a fantastic looking mod. But I don't, like you said, it's all about how it works on a super speedway. Those trucks,
and have them just run 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, then gear them down to Yeah, exactly. Tapping out at like
make
101.
third gear, make like second gear so long they just don't come out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Yeah,
Three
they
in the
ended
tree,
up
boys.
some drivers have had some difficulty kind of getting acclimated to the hitbox. We've seen bumper grab come into play, some uneven bumps. So to that end, why not
You're
the
just
Indy cars?
asking for trouble.
I'm sure it'd be fine, right?
You're just asking for trouble. Do you not remember
Bump
the
draft
Daytona
car,
race?
a car with no bumper, right?
Do you not remember the Daytona race you put on?
I do. That's why I'm smiling behind the microphone making the suggestion, because I know just how horrible it would actually be.
No, yeah, and make sure that they're running what is it, chassis 5, so they're running just unrestricted.
No restrictor plates. Yep. Well, we've seen
And so you get
catch air this season.
Just pit stops are coming up. Birdie's telling me that she just has 4 projected, and there are some cars that have less than her.
And they have just been knotted up here. As you said, Michael, nobody's been able to get momentum and clear each other. Nofsker is able to get that run on the inside, on the entry of the corner through the center, and then the surge goes up to the middle line with Grant Wesley. You'd think that if Grant could get enough of a push to get clear on Nofsker, he'd jump down to the inside line, but he's not able to do it. And this makes me a little bit worried, because outside of Jeffrey Elliott, everyone came to pit road under that last yellow. Everybody's going to be slightly around the same number on fuel. And if that's the case, we may end up seeing drivers have to pit out of necessity from that outside line.
Like Ty Dillon?
Unfortunately, yes.
And then fire a spotter because they needed a scapegoat?
I mean, they have a widened pit road here at this 4th version of Talladega RTG. That does not mean that the access road, the running off the banking of turn 4 onto the apron, is widened out here. So it's going to make things very interesting. We might potentially see some drivers peel off onto pit road a couple laps before they have to.
There's
I think case in point right there, Sabanera coming down pit road.
Oh.
I think this is smart. Ooh, Robert Spring locks him up.
Yep.
Wow, that was such a controlled slide, too. Don't go backwards too long.
Oh, he's going to miss the commitment cone. No, he's not. Nope, he's good. He made the cone. Going to lose a lot of track position there, though. I like this call, coming down pit road ahead of everybody else, because with them stacked up double wide like this would make me very nervous trying to pit
Well, there are
with a
going to
large
be some
group.
cars coming down pit road this time.
You see Bob Dixon on the high side there, so he's already pit.
Yep.
That's how you knew
2
it was
laps
coming.
ago.
Yep. A couple more. There's a whole bunch more.
Oh my gosh, they're coming in here hard. Oh,
Little cut.
A little bit of contact.
Tech
Let's
there
hope
between
that
those
that
top
didn't
2.
cause one of them to have to let off the brake and get a black for speeding.
Good call.
That's the one thing about hot pitting, is the game will not black flag you if your foot's on the brake, but as soon as you let off the brake, it's when it starts counting.
I have to keep an eye out and see about those drivers that came down in that first group. Did they get it woed down to pit road speed while hot pitting? John Godfrey is now the race leader, another driver that's been quietly consistent this season. Only 1 top 10 in the first 6 races, but 8th in points, as he's going to lead the second group down to pit road here.
Just in case you were wondering, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you do it. Green flag pitting, full field, Talladega, these guys.
I wouldn't know
No big
because I
deal.
can't hot pit.
I just love it when it goes off perfect like that on a green flag. It looks so good. It's great advertising for the drivers.
Here's a funny story, and Seth knows this more than anybody. So there's a running gag going. There used to be a guy who raced in here called named Joshua Mercurio, and me and him have a little thing going on. We're saying he can't hot pit. Well, apparently I can't either.
Oh, no. Not to cut you off, Michael, but Grant Wesley, you were wondering about him and Nofsker. Did someone let off the brake? Looks like Wesley was busted for speeding. He's back down pit road serving the penalty.
Yep, I see that now. That's a tough break.
Didn't mean to cut you off, but man, that's...
No, it's something. Oh, Jessica just blew third gear.
What is going on with the mechanical problems tonight?
There's gremlins in the garage tonight. That's crazy.
Oh, that's going to be sucky for restarts and green flag pitting. But anyways, back to the story. So we were both in a race last night at Daytona. Very easy to pit. You know, we didn't really pay attention to driver's meeting, as most people don't nowadays. And I guess they told us that pit road speed started from the yellow line. Well, we thought it was the stalls, so we hot pit down pit road, both me and Mercurio, and we're like, "Oh, cool! We made it. It's stall to stall. Didn't even really hot pit because we got down to pit road speed right at the start of the stalls." Me and him both come out first and second off pit road, and we both got black flags.
Well, it looks like you found the line.
Yep. Looking back here at Chuck McClure.
Yeah, I was just checking back. These green flag pit stops were the worst thing that could happen for Chuck McClure. He was up running third or fourth on the outside line. He had drafting help, so he was able to stay in the lead group. Leaving the road, he did not have a drafting partner, and he has faded way, way back. So involved in the two early incidents. No, he was involved in those two earlier wrecks. So he was dealing with the aero damage where you need to have somebody pushing you to be able to stay up in the lead group. He does not have that anymore, so he has plummeted.
Currently running 23rd.
Ooh, look at the 24, going to slide right up in front of the 38 there.
Just ahead of him is Jeffrey Elliott, who right now is the first car one lap down. Second car would be Bernie Mobbs in the 31, who I believe is back outside of this lead pack. They are two of four drivers that are currently off the lead lap. Mark Paglia and Robert Spring would be the other ones. If a caution were to come out, then Elliott and Mobbs would get the free pass. But kind of looking at the scoring right now, it's not going to take very long, I don't think, for the leaders to reel in Greg Palmer, Grant Wesley, Mike Mangialardi as well, because they're all kind of running around the track with limited to no drafting partners. You got about 14, 15 drivers single file here barreling around at upwards of 197, 198 miles per hour through the corners.
Doug Woolley in the 99 there leading that little pack of five. These, five cars are able to keep pretty good top speed drafting together like that. And they're running a pretty tight line too, which is good. They're not really trying to race each other. They're just trying to stay in line so they can stay with that main group you can see up front. More cars, the faster you go, but only up to about 200 miles an hour. And these guys are hitting about 199 or so. 198 right there. So they got
very
some good...
interesting in terms of the calculations I just did here. Nofsker and most of that front group, when they came to pit road, it was at the completion of lap 28 onto 29. Right now, with the number of laps remaining, we are just barely on the window to be able to make it the rest of the way on one more pit stop. However, with Nofsker showing the way here and leading most of this run, I'm looking at him roughly a lap to a lap and a half short of being able to make it on one more pit stop. So Tim Nofsker may be the one driver in the field right now that does not want to see it go green to the finish.
Yeah, especially he's up there breaking all the wind. That's, harder on your fuel mileage, to say the least. You can see Jeffrey Elliott in there, like you said. He is a lap down. But not damaged. Just an unlucky little, blip in the internet connection put him a lap back, so. He would want to see a caution, and like you said, so would Nofsker in the 088 leading this thing.
We talked about that there was only 5 points separating the top four in the standings coming into this evening, as Jeffrey Elliott coming down pit road. He's off sequence from everybody else, but Brian Schilling's out of the race. Grant Wesley got hit with a speeding penalty, and he's in danger of going a lap down, and Chuck McClure's got damage off the pace, has lost the lead group. The last man standing right now of those top four is the former winner on the season, Denny Carroll, who is in this lead pack in the 12th position. Right now, live scoring would have him at the top of the standings once again.
The view back from Wesley here as the main group will pass him with ease.
Like Jeffrey Elliott came down pit road and actually made the left-hand turn to the garage area. So he will finish out the even to the 32nd position, and that's actually going to help Grant Wesley because Jeffrey would have been one of the drivers he would have had to battle in this lead group to remain in contention for the free pass. Now, he is the first car one lap down ahead of Bernie Mobbs.
Oh, so they're definitely going to need a caution to come out, and it's going to need to be ASAP as well.
Great run for Josh Metallic in the 3rd position. Came into this race 5th in the standings, 29 points back. And with a number of the front runners in the standings running into issues, he will be able to close that gap up a ton. Playoffs, he could find himself very much in the conversation for regular season champion going into next week if he's able to stay up where he currently is at. And how about the car right in front of him? We've documented that this has been quite an unusual season for Jeremy Jeffries. Came into this season as the defending champion of the series. 7 races in, when they took the green flag here tonight, 27th in the point standings. So maybe tonight is the turning point for him to finally get the consistency back, maybe find victory lane here tonight, and lock himself up a spot to defend his title from season 65 into 66.
Single file line right now. Who are they putting? Is that another lap down or 1 lap down?
Yep, no, that's Mike Mangialardi, who is on the tail end of the lead lap. Now first car 1 lap down. More than likely will be the second car 1 lap down. Grant Wesley should be able to make his way by further up to speed in this draft.
And it looks like Jeffrey Elliott has retired. Ulysses Sandoval, McCarthy, Hagelin, Cravello, Schilling, and Hagley. All the cars that have retired from the race.
Didn't know Ulysses retired from the race.
Yep,
29 laps ago, yep.
Yeah, he was out just that second caution. Chuck McClure currently sitting as our only multi-time winner on the season. Highest running to tie him for that honor would be Joe DeSpirito, right now in the 5th position. And remember, Joe had damage from that initial start stack up. Came down pit road, did a good repair job, did his pit crew, and he is up to speed, still competitive, and still in the hunt.
Ow, my ears. I think I just had a spike on my end, so that just kind of hurt my ears a little bit.
Looking back here in the field, too, of a number of drivers that are riding some winless streaks. Rodney Sullivan's right now in 6th, John Godfrey in 7th, Brian Ralston in 8th. How about Milt Surratt and Keith Bynum bringing up the latter portion of the top 10? There's a big opportunity here tonight for some drive. Make a first-time appearance in the playoffs as a race winner. It's all going to come down to this final stop, which right now, if my calculations are correct, are going to take place in the next 5 to 6 laps. It's going to be the money stop. You're going to have to try to get yourself into the window of around 18, 19 to go. So most of these drivers are going to... They're at 7?
Bob Seminara has 7, has 9. That's what she...
So that would put...
Yes.
I don't think Knopfler can go that far. I think he's going to have to come to pit road probably around maybe completion of lap 46. If he can make it, the completion of 47, he might be okay, but it'd be a big question mark. If he pits any sooner than that, I don't think he can make it.
Just remind everybody, next couple of weeks, I'm not going to be here, so Flat Out Racing Network is the place to be to watch the next 2 races here on Thursday, the Talladega Challenge, which will be at youtube.com/@FlatOutRacingNetworkLive. You'll almost need every key on your keyboard to type that one.
Yep. We will definitely keep your seat warm and have you back here for the start of the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see you in November. Because it's Halloween and I'm on vacation for 2 weeks.
Bring back some good weather.
Okay.
Oh, it's great weather here.
I love it.
Preferably up in the 70s or 80s.
That's exactly what it is here. It's 80 degrees this
You
weekend.
watch. He's going to come back, and that Thursday night is going to be the first snow in New York.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to laugh. I'm going to laugh in 80 degrees.
You will laugh in Florida.
I will laugh in Florida.
Well, even today, like I work for FedEx, right? So I'm out doing my deliveries and stuff, and I'm still wearing shorts. Mind you, I've got a couple of sweaters on in my vest. But people are like, oh my God, you're wearing shorts. I can't believe it. It's so cold. I'm like, it's not a cloud in the sky. Nice, crisp autumn day.
So-
It's the best. Literally the best.
The complete opposite of me. When I went down to Daytona for the July race in the middle of
A
summer,
long sleeve flannel shirt and jeans.
and well, not only that, but the jeans were flannel lined.
And
so-
I was
Yeah.
sweating for him.
12 degrees Celsius, which is, I don't know Fahrenheit, but like, I don't know, what, 50 something? I don't know.
I don't even know. I know like it's 35.
I don't know. I
know,
promised
great.
myself after high school I'd never
30
do another math
I
problem.
know like, no,
Yeah.
like 35 degrees Celsius is like almost 90 degrees or something like that. Maybe a little bit, maybe almost
Yeah,
100
that's
degrees.
hot. Yeah.
Some people have three for Nofsker, 4 for Jess. Or 5 for Jess, sorry.
So we can expect
Not
to see
Nofsker. I
Bob
didn't mean
going
to
in
say
soon.
Nofsker. Yeah. Summit.
Bob Dixon usually 3 laps early, so we'll see
And
what
he
he
has
does.
yet it.
143 of Bob Dixon in the 25th position. Has pitted 3 times, but has not pit yet. I do not believe.
I don't know if they have this here for the season, but I think that tonight, so far this season, the fastest lap has been set by Bob Seminara, 203.171. I don't think we've hit
Wow.
203 yet this season.
I haven't seen a 203 in a long time.
We've been at 201. I don't think we've ever gotten to 203. That's crazy.
I don't think I've ever seen a 203 ever. 203.171, a 47.08
flyer.
second lap. That is
We're sure there's
insane.
not rocket fuel in that car.
I've seen it glitch out. Like, I've seen it be 530 mile an hour,
Bob Seminara
and-
coming down
and-
pit road
and-
this time.
like a 12-second lap. Like, I've seen a glitch, but that's not a glitch. Like, that's close enough that it's not a glitch.
No, you got to get the lag just right. You got to get the lag to where it hits you at just the right moment to launch your
Yeah.
car 12 miles per hour faster.
Well, and then, like, if you lag on the start line, it times you different, right?
Yeah,
So-
it takes a lap away from you.
Yeah. Like that
my
one time
math
I
is
saw the
correct.
400 mile an hour lap was some weird glitch like that. But, yep, go ahead. Sorry, Seth.
If my math is correct, Seminara cannot make it on this pit stop. He's going to be a lap short.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is going to be tough for Jess, who has no third gear.
So that's interesting because he may have been down to the last drop and was forced to pit, and now
Yeah.
it's a matter of maybe clutching. I don't
There
know.
you go.
Nofsker in.
Yeah.
Metallic,
Oh,
Jeffrey.
Tim
Jeffries,
Nofsker, bro. That
Surratt.
was so fast. You
Now
saw
watch-
how much you locked those tires up, right?
Yeah.
Josh Metallic did as well. Now, these drivers, they are borderline able to make it the rest of the way. They went about 19 laps.
So you're calculating a 19-lap fuel run.
Roughly, yep.
Right.
About 18 laps if you're the leader for most of the run, 19 laps if you have the benefit of the draft. Now, the issue for Bob Seminara was, remember back when the first round of pit stops took place, he pitted a lap sooner than the first pack. That put him at a disadvantage right away.
Here comes a few more.
These drivers...
Despirito coming in hot, too. Holy moly.
And they should comfortably be able to make it.
These guys are wasting their tires coming in like this.
Remember, we saw Grant Wesley get hit with a speeding penalty. You
Black
gotta
flag,
make
Mark
sure.
Paglia.
I was just gonna say, you gotta make sure you get it woed down here because we're running out of laps for the opportunity of a caution to save you. This is the proverbial money stop right here. Most everybody, it's their final time onto pit road.
So Paglia currently a couple laps down. Under green, that's a drive-through, right?
Correct. Got a pack of 5 coming down here, including the under penalty 28 of Mark Paglia. Sullins, Godfrey, Lauralee, and Rawson, they are guaranteed. They know they can make it the rest of the way here.
Yeah,
I would say anybody that pit coming to the completion of lap 47 should be good to make it on fuel.
Yeah, but with no third gear, what's it going to be like trying to get up to speed?
It'll be tough. It'll be very tough.
Rodney Sullins was your leader, but currently in the pit stall.
I believe Jeremy Jeffries will cycle out to the race lead here. Not sure what happened to Tim Knopfsker. He was the leader when the pit stops began, but he is a long ways back.
Did he have a black flag?
I think he did. Well, hang on. Let's see.
Or did he have to take tires?
He took on tires, but then he comes out here ahead of the leaders.
Yeah, the only black flag I saw pop up was
he had a black flag. He was speeding.
Okay.
He came back down pit road. Knopfsker getting nailed by the speeding police after leading a race-high 30 laps tonight.
Yeah, Jess is struggling. She said with the no third gear. Not many races left for her, by the way. Just 2 more after this, right?
Yep, correct.
It'll be the 2 that Blaine's not here for.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm working on a highlight video, so stay tuned for that.
After the dust is settled here and we're closing in on 10 to go, looks like we've got roughly, I'm going to say 12 drivers in this lead pack. Not sure about John Godfrey back there, if he's going to be able to stay in the slipstream of Brian Rawson and get back up here into this group. If he loses the draft, we'll be down to 11 drivers in this pack. There are a couple of lap machines that are in this pack as well, including the 88 of Grant Wesley. Now, just because he is a lap down does not mean he can't necessarily play a part into the outcome of this race. Somebody could call upon him for drafting help to try to get up here to the front and pick up the checkered flag. Comes Keith Bynum to the inside line with Greg Lovell and Denny Carroll trying to make something happen from 5th place on back. Just don't have that energy down there on the bottom. They don't have the numbers. It's so difficult, so frustrating as a driver, because when you have a pack of 20 to 25 drivers, it's so easy to jump up to the outside or the inside line, have a pack of drivers behind you, and make forward progress. When you've got only a handful of drivers here in this group, it is so difficult from the mid-pack to rear of this group to generate the energy needed to be able to make a run at the race leaders.
You were talking about John Godfrey in the 7-Eleven. I wonder if the 6 of Rawson actually fell back a little bit to help John out, because he's right back in there on that draft again, nice and tight.
Very well could have. I also noticed that they were double wide ahead of Godfrey. That's also a big help if you're a driver trying to latch on. If they're single file, they're going to pull away from you if you've got a gap between you and the tail end driver of the pack. But if they're double wide ahead of you, they're stalling each other out. It gives you options to be able to get the slipstream in different portions of the racetrack. So to your point, looks like he is up here. So 12 drivers in this group to settle it out as we are fast approaching 10 laps to go. And maybe more importantly, we're fast approaching that point of no return. We've got some lap cars here in the field too, so there'd be that extra lap of caution potentially here to be able to get some lucky dogs back on the lead lap. So even though they've got that updated EXE to be able to expedite some cautions, we probably would be around the point of no return somewhere around lap 63, 64. Another driver we haven't given a whole lot of love to tonight. How about Bobby Farrell? And at number 90, Andy's Frozen Custard, Dark Horse Mustang. 30th in the points coming into tonight. Mentioned about the fact that drivers that are down 20th and below in the standings, they need to turn a corner here tonight or else it's going to be too late. And Bobby Farrell being up here in this lead group, if he's able to pick up a victory here tonight, then he just has into the top 20 in points and he would advance into the postseason. Also, right now, looking like there could be of the brackets coming into tonight. All bracket upsets. As right now, Joe DeSpirito is running just ahead of Denny Carroll. DeSpirito 5th, Denny Carroll in 10th. DeSpirito was the 10 seed against the 2 seed Denny Carroll coming into this week on the brackets. Grant Wesley trapped a lap down Donnie Garrett, who was his opponent, right now in the 3rd position. Donnie was the 12th seed. Grant was the 4th seed. Chuck McClure damaged off the pace back in the 21st position. Brian Rawson, his opponent, is up in this lead group right now in 11th. Chuck was the number 1 seed. Brian was the 24 seed. And then Brian Schilling's out of the race. Billy Elliser still on track, still on the lead lap in 20th. Elliser was the 27 seed. And Brian Schilling was the 3 seed. So right now, we are looking to go a perfect 4 for 4 in bracket upsets in round 3. Going to be some more traffic for the leaders to deal with here in a moment. Bob Dixon, tail end of the lead lap, running just ahead of the race leaders. They're going to catch him through the tri-oval. And then there's a trio up ahead, Cy Jones, RJ Cabana, who are also lead lap as well.
I will have a nickname for everybody.
Shout out to the people in the YouTube chat, David Chin, Jeffrey Elliott, Bob Pumpkin Sire, chiming in on the Tarnation TV side of things. Good evening, gents. Thanks for watching the stream, as always. Anybody who takes the time out of their evening to watch this thing live is always appreciated.
So there was no Randy Wan this, and I'm sad about that.
There was not.
Hey, look, it's Cody Lamas. I'm about to get lapped.
That's our RJ Cabana.
I thought that was Cody Lamas.
I love it. RJ Copa Cabana.
And they're going to hold that middle line and force them to go really low.
Yep. They gave him the lane.
Oh, it's there. Take it.
As a
They
lap
said you're not taking the middle.
You have to get out of the way. Leaders have to go around you.
That's true.
Common courtesy, yes, at the same time.
Like we're trying some here. From
He just
6th
holds
place
the line,
on back with Spirito, Rodney Sullins, Brian Ross, and Grant Wesley all jumping up there.
On board
Saw
with
last
the
week.
Spirito.
And we saw last week, Bob Seminara talked to him post-race. He said, I just waited too late. The caution came out when they were through the trial, but there just wasn't enough time to be able to make a move for the victory. In this case right now, I think Spirito on back, they're realizing we can't wait. We can't wait till the last lap. We've got to start making something happen here and now so that we're battling for the race lead when we get to that point of no return.
Now, are all these guys good to go on fuel?
Yep.
Okay.
Believe so. Yep, I think they're all good. Certain can make it on fuel would be the 712 of Seminara. Everybody else came down pit road at the conclusion of lap 47, which right on the 18 or 19 laps to go mark.
Oh, and they're going to leave Downinger out.
Despirito just driving this thing through the pack here.
Slicing and dicing.
If they're going to leave the 77 out to dry on that third lane.
And remember, with Spirito having the win earlier on this season, that gives him the freedom, gives him the luxury to be aggressive here tonight. He knows he's going to be battling for the championship.
Aggressive. But aggressive goes around.
It does.
Here he goes again.
Like wherever he goes, Rodney Sullins is willing to follow.
2 laps ago, he's like a ninth.
But again, the inside lane isn't always the strongest lane around.
All depends on how good of a push you can get from the driver behind you. I think at this point in time, our driver is going to be...
There's more of a outside than there is the inside.
Yeah, it's a matter of do the drivers have the comfort level to be able to shove right now, keep those bumpers locked. What a tough night it's been here for 2 of our front runners in the early going. Tim Nofsker and Grant Wesley both hit with speeding penalties on 2 consecutive pit stops. Wesley right now, the first car a lap down. He's the 4th car in line. Nofsker going a lap down right there. The combined 34 laps led between Wesley and Nofsker, and doesn't look like either one of them are going to finish this race on the lead lap.
No. And I believe that coming to lap 63 will be that point of no return. If a caution comes out, the race will end in the yellow.
Yep, especially with there being lap cars. Wouldn't be enough time to be able to get them around, get their lap back. We saw Joe DeSpirito worked his way from, I think you said, 9th lane up there to battle for 2nd, and just like that, yeah. He's all the way back to the 8th position.
Yeah. Yeah, he's back to where he started, just like the yo-yo effect, you know. He found the pocket and made it work, and then no assistance.
Now the question
back where he started.
is, when does the 39 make the move, and who goes with them, and will
That's
the 88 do it?
That's the big thing for Metallic. You know he wants to get by the 1 and pick up this victory, but how comfortable is he that if he makes that move that others behind him will go with him? We already saw what happened with DeSpirito when he got left out. He dropped all the way to the back for Metallic. Now, obviously, you want to win the race, but you don't want to give up 2nd place to do it and then find yourself crossing the line outside of the top 10.
And then keep in mind, too, you got that Quaker State, that green car there, the 88 of Wesley is a lap down, but he's still able to help if he chooses to do so. He's not a hindrance. He's not damaged. He's able to keep pace with these guys, but he's not racing for position. So he could be an ace in your back pocket.
I think for these drivers, they are just looking to get around to the white flag before they try to settle it out, just kind of cycling through the field. I don't see anything that looks untoward enough where we would end up seeing a caution come out and end this race under yellow. So for right now, I think they're content to ride, bide their time, and then try to duke it out.
And then there's a Loma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, those guys have to go now.
Oh, there they
Carroll, Greg Lovell.
Oh, the 63 thought about it.
Yeah, he tried to fit into that gap between the 7-11 and the 38. Actually made the better decision of not going down there because he bypassed them all to move up into the 5th spot.
Have a lot of, that 92 was close. Don't really have a lot of move when you can't win on the inside because, like I said, the middle lane there is the more predominant one.
Almost feel like
Lap cars coming up, too. That could be a problem, but the white flag is out.
Here we go. Jeremy Jeffries trying to get his first win on the season to lock himself into the playoffs, defend his title from a season ago. Metallic and Donnie Garrett also trying to lock themselves in. They've had pretty consistent seasons.
Metallic, no stranger to the victory lane here at Talladega.
Former champion of the series as well.
Two races in a row, and some of them must need.
Yeah.
He's looking.
Ooh, backing up a little bit.
That's smart. Back up a little bit. Ride half a lane higher. You're going to get a good run off the corner.
Does he shoot?
There he is.
Nobody. He's got none. There's
way
right
up
there.
The track goes Metallic. Coming back to the stripe, Jeremy Jeffries.
Wow.
Will pick up his first win on the season.
Metallic finished 6th.
I want to know what happened. He went high, and then he went super high. Like something was happening to his car or something. Was
he running out of fuel? There's no way.
No, I think it was just bad timing.
He wasn't running out of fuel.
What an awesome race. 2 caution flags tonight, 7 laps under yellow. That's all we had. Green
Talk
flag
about those races where road plays its part. This was one of them.
TV2.
Jeremy Jeffries came into this race 27th in points. It wasn't a must-win situation, but he probably treated this race as such. We've documented the bad luck he's had this season. 2 finishes inside of the top 10, but a number of bad performances, a couple of DNFs have kind of negated those top 10 points. Jeremy Jeffries, maybe even tonight, he may jump from 27th up the top 20 in the point standings for a playoff spot, but now the goal is going to be a lot easier for him to get back into the postseason with 2 races left to go. I'm not sure if he's thrown in the club.
Yeah.
The clutch here. I think that's it. I think he's out. That's all you get.
Yep. Yep, that's it. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. There's your burnout.
Well, this is a race where the point standings are going to be topsy-turvy from what they looked like starting the evening to what they eventually look like when the dust settles and the checkered flag waves. Back to victory lane, and should be enough for him to advance into this season's playoffs, becoming the 6th different driver to find victory lane here in season 66. Donnie Garrett is going to bring it home in 2nd. He was hovering just outside of the cut line. This may move him back in. And Bobby Farrell going to finish a season best 3rd place here tonight in that number 92, with John Godfrey, Rodney Sullins completing the top 5. Metallic, who tried to make that move there, is going to come home in 6th. Bynum in 7th. Greg Lovell 8th. Denny Carroll, who I believe is going to be the new points leader going into next week, brings home 9th. And Joe DeSpirito is going to complete the top 10.
And remember, these are unofficial results.
Correct. Like Tim Knopfler is going to get the bonus point for most laps led here tonight. 33 circuits out in front. Jeremy led 17. They were the only 2 drivers to lead double digits. We had a plethora of drivers that led laps here this evening, and we'll carry those valuable bonus points into next week. Total of 30 drivers finished this race under power, with 21 of them on the lead lap and 8 drivers back in the garage area. Let's see if we can dial up our podium finishers on the evening. Let's kick things off with 3rd place finishing Bobby Farrell. Hey, Bobby, it's the guys up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hi, guys in the broadcast booth.
Hey, great run for you here tonight. Execution on pit road was flawless, got you up in the lead pack in the closing stages, and then just kind of seemed like as drivers were making moves and falling back, you were committed to that middle line moving forward, bring it home for your best finish on the season in third place. I gotta ask though, was there any thoughts about maybe having a scenario where you could have gotten 2 spots better and had this machine parked in victory lane?
I would have liked to, but I just had a feeling I wasn't going to get help there at the end, so I just kind of stuck with the where I was, and the seas kind of parted as everybody was trying to battle it out, and I was able to get up at least to third, and it would have been nice to get one of those first 2 spots, but I'm not 100% positive I was going to make it.
Your first top 5 on the season, your first top 10 on the season. We've talked about it's been so difficult this season for drivers to find a sense of consistency. You came into tonight 30th in the points. How good does it feel to have this thing up here inside of the top 5 tonight after the struggles you've had in these first 6 races?
It feels great, to be honest with you. It almost feels like a win. Up until now, I think my best was 15th, so to get not only top 5 but the top 3, feels awesome.
Now, obviously, 2 races left here in the regular season, but sometimes you just need that one good finish for it to be a turn of the corner. With this run here tonight, what do you foresee for the upcoming 2 weeks? Do you see a potential path to still be able to snipe a playoff spot?
I'm hoping we can, have another 2 good races like tonight, and they updated the points already, so I jumped up about 24th, I think, so I didn't calculate how far back I am from that top 12, but, just hopefully another 2 good races like tonight, and we'll just let the points fall where they may, and hopefully we can get in that playoff.
Yeah, net gain for sure here with a solid run here tonight. Congratulations on the great performance. And again, we saw pit road be the pivotal point second half of this race, and you were able to execute to have yourself in the conversation. We wish you luck in these upcoming 2 weeks. But before we let you go, Bobby, the floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
This one's for Bones because I ran his car again tonight. Didn't have a good run with it during his Memorial race, so I felt like I needed to bring it back out and got that 3rd place. But as always, I got to thank the guy that painted that for me, Jamie Baker. Always makes me look good on the track, and a good friend of mine, Kyle, should be watching tonight, so I appreciate all the support that I get and look forward to next week.
Well, Bobby, congratulations on the great run here this evening, and best of luck in these final 2 races of the regular season.
Thank you.
Bobby Farrell bringing it home in P3 here tonight, and to answer his question on where this would position him in regards to the 12th position in the standings, 35 points is the deficit right now between him and that cut line. That is doable with 2 races left, especially if he's able to bring it home in solid finishes like tonight in the next 2 weeks. Another driver that came into tonight below the cut line, but second place is going to put him now solidly 10th in the standings, back into a playoff position, is Donnie Garrett. Let's see if we can get a hold of him. Hey, Donnie, it's the guys up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys.
Hey, I'll tell you what, a little up, down, up here, I guess, in the last few weeks. You were above the cut line going into last week, fell below the cut line after last week's conclusion, and a second place run here tonight put you back up into the top 12 in the point standings. But it seemed like here this evening, the closing stages especially, it was really difficult for drivers that were making moves to keep the momentum moving forward. You were able to do so. At one point, I think you were 7th or 8th when you guys completed the pit stops, and you slowly worked your way up forward, almost had a shot at winning this thing. Is that just the lack of cars there was in that pack? There just wasn't enough energy to be able to make moves like that? So in a sense, you're just kind of were stuck in trying to find that middle line forward?
Just riding. At that point, you're just riding, and logging laps is all you're doing, and you're not really, trying to do anything crazy. I had Grant tonight in the bracket series, and he made a mistake, unfortunately, on pit road, and so I knew, as long as there's no caution coming out, I didn't want to cause one. So I figured I just ride along here tonight. I need the points. Again, I'm points racing right now. Took a shot at Jeremy there at the end. Josh made a move, and I had to check for a second because I didn't know what he was doing, and I still had a little bit of a nice run on Jeremy there on the outside, but I just couldn't get him. And but congratulations to Jeremy, and but yeah, just riding, just logging laps, man. It's what this is all about. This part of the season, you're just trying to position yourself for the playoffs. You know where you're at in points. You're sitting there in third place. I'm like, hey, this is good for me, man. I got Grant beat. Most caution don't come out, and he don't get a lap back, come back up. And hey, top 2, top 3, top 4. It's going to, I'm probably going to gain 2-3 points in the positions, and all that stuff's going through your mind the whole time. But you're like, then you want to take that, you want to go for that win. So did that for a second there, but like I said, I wasn't going to make it too hard. And like a few weeks ago when I finished second to Grant, I didn't want to make it too hard and cause an accident. Same thing with Jeremy. Yeah, I pulled away from him and pulled out there on the outside and took a shot at him, but I wasn't going to make it too crazy.
You talk about points racing at this portion of the season, and I commented back in the middle portion of this race. Actually, I think it was about 15, 16 laps into this race when you guys were getting ready for that first round of green flag pit stops. We didn't see quite as many aggressive moves for 3 wide tonight. Everybody seemed pretty content to ride double file, and obviously up here in the booth, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of put a finger on the pulse of the field and what everybody's thinking. You're there in the driver's seat racing around everybody. Do you think that that's kind of the mentality that most everybody has adapted at this portion of the season? Let's not tear up equipment. Let's not lose points. Let's ride. Let's see what happens. Position ourselves in these final couple of pit stops and see where we're at that point.
Well, I think all racers here are great racers. I mean, any racer here can go anywhere and win. But here, this is the cream of the crop when it comes to Talladega. And, we've got a new rule in place where, hey, you cause a couple problems, you got to talk to an admin before you drive again. And, that was a rule put in because of all this crazy cautions we've had. And I think people took that seriously. And I think they calmed down a little bit and said, hey, let's log laps, let's race, but race cleanly, don't get crazy. I didn't see a lot of those where you're going one line's got 4 lines basically in it where the cars are all over the place. Everybody was good and nose to tail tonight, shaped like a bullet, like I always preach. And just seemed like everybody just, one of them nights must not have been a full moon, I guess. And everybody was just kind of minding their P's and Q's, but seemed like everybody was just really just racing good and clean tonight. I mean, they had a really good, fun night.
So to that end, we ended up seeing pit road play a very pivotal part in the second half of this race. Obviously, you were able to execute on pit road, keep yourself up in the lead pack, and be in the conversation for this race victory. Still keeping that points mentality here in these next 2 weeks. How much do you think pit road's going to play a part going forward based off what we saw tonight?
Oh, it's the most important part of the race. I mean, the pit road's where you win or lose here, and the guys that were around me up there, I feel total confidence in. Ain't no one was around me up there that we pitted. I didn't think it was going to run over me, going to hit me or block me or anything like that. We actually me and Josh talked right before the pit stop there. And we're like, hey, we're no nose tail. Where are we going? And he's like, hey, I want to go low. I'm like, cool, I'll go high. I think he was 18th, I was 3rd. But that's as drivers, that's what we do. When you're good at this, and Josh knows I'm a pretty hot pitter. And he's like, hey, I'm going to go low, give you room, but I'll be low, stay low, you stay high, we'll stay out of each other's way. You got to communicate with stuff like that, and that works. That communication works, and it's just a lot of give and take tonight. But everyone up there around me, 100% confidence in, and knew they weren't going to make a mistake.
Well, Donnie, congratulations on the great run here tonight. Some good momentum built with 2 weeks left until we put the playoff grid together. You're back above the cut line, currently 10th in the standings going into next week. Hopefully we can see this consistency keep up for the latter half of the regular season. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shout-outs.
Yeah, well, thank you guys, of course, and miss old Bones, man. Like I say, and dedicate this second place to him. As always, and always thinking about him. And congratulations to Josh and them that got promotions, I guess you'd say. Well deserved. Josh is a great guy. Doesn't get his feelings hurt when we protest things. just a super the right guy. He's the right guy for the position. And like I say, had a great night. The old Astroglide Ultimate Garage Floors Dream Machine was really running hot. Hey, I didn't lose connection. It's the first time in 3 weeks, so I'm excited about that. That's what's killed me the last 3 weeks. I keep losing connections, and didn't happen tonight. And we held her up there. Got a nice second place finish, and we'll move on the next week and hopefully get ready for these playoffs.
Well, there you go. Congratulations on the great run here tonight, Donnie. Best of luck in these 2 remaining weeks as you eye yourself a spot at the postseason.
Woo!
Donnie Garrett, the nature boy, gracing us with the signature woo there.
Before we bring up our race winner, I got clarification. It turns out the Ken Roberts did not get penalized last week, so his win stands.
Oh.
That's
Because
what
that
I
was-
was just told.
Oh, they must have changed it, because on the Rolling Thunder forum, it was...
Apparently,
Maybe he submitted an appeal or something?
Apparently,
Yeah.
it was called a no call.
oh,
okay.
they changed it. Okay.
There you go. Still, I think, regardless of whether the win stood or not, it kind of holds the same bearing with Ken not in the field here tonight. Very unlikely he's going to get up into the top 20 in the point stand. So that is still a victory that a driver is not able to utilize to get into the postseason nonetheless. However, here tonight, a driver with a victory is going to have himself locked into the postseason. Let's see if we can get a hold of the defending champion. Goes to
Number
victory lane
one.
for the first time here in season 66. Hey, Jeremy, it's the guys up here in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do. Hello.
Man, I'll tell you what. We've talked about this during the off weeks. It's just been a tough grind for you coming in here as the defending champion. You had 2 top 10 finishes, but then the other finishes have kind of negated that. You came into tonight slowly starting to climb your way up through the point stands. This victory now puts you 17th in points. You're in a postseason position. I have to ask, how deep was the sigh of relief as you crossed the stripe to pick up this checkered flag?
Oh my God, that was intense. I, for one, didn't know if I had enough gas, and 2, didn't know if I had enough speed to hold off that monster run from Donnie. It was close.
Yeah, I was trying to work the calculators here. When you guys were coming down pit road, I had you guys maybe right on the number, but I kind of questioned in my head, if you're a leader of the pack for a majority of the run, can you make it? And you obviously ended up executing on pit road. You cycled out to the front. Was there a scenario that you could have seen right there where you possibly may have run out of fuel coming around here to the checkered flag? Let's say if we had ended up having a caution come out with about maybe 4 or 5 to go.
I led that entire last run, I believe, after Tim unfortunately sped. So I guess I was going to be good no matter what because I was using max fuel out there. But the red light was on coming to the line for sure.
Yeah, we saw obviously the expedited burnout there with the lack of fuel to be able to do a lengthy burnout there. But a burnout is a burnout nonetheless, and you have this thing parked in victory lane. So now you can check off the box. You've got the victory. You can check off the next box up above the 20th in the standings cut line with 2 races left to go now. What is the goal? What is the mentality in preparation for the postseason to defend your title from a season ago?
Well, now that I've hopefully got all the bad luck out of the way that I didn't get last season, oh my gosh, this season has been terrible. But if I can just stay there in the top, just top 15 every week, that would probably be enough to get me in there. I've got the win. I just gotta. It's so close to that 20th spot. A few positions, I'm out of this thing again. So I've just got to be smart with 2 races to go and try to, I guess, play defense. I don't know how much more offense I need to do right at this moment.
Well, you played some great defense here in the closing stages, able to hold off the 39 and the 77. Obviously, as well, you talked about, finally finding a little sense of consistency, maybe turning a corner. Do you get the feeling that maybe we've turned the corner here and all the bad luck is in the rearview mirror, especially as the playoffs draw closer?
I would like to hope so. I don't know how much more. I was to the point where I was like, do I even want to show up after the week where I couldn't show up, I got parked a week, a few weeks ago, so that wasn't fun either. That was all my own doing, but it's just, it's been one of those seasons. I've been my own worst enemy, and I've also got collected in other people's stuff, so it's nice to do it right.
Well, congratulations on finding your way back to victory lane. Currently sitting in a playoff position and not that far outside of the top 12 in points as well. So you may be able to actually point your way into the postseason depending on what happens here in the next 2 weeks and maybe pick up another win before we end up putting the postseason playoff grid together as well. Jeremy, congratulations on the great run here tonight, picking up your first win of season 66. And before we let you get back to your celebrating, the floor is yours for Victory Lane. Thank you, sponsors, and shoutouts.
Thanks to Josh for sticking there with me at the end. I think he got shuffled back. I'm not sure exactly where he finished, but he stuck there with me until the very last second when Donnie made that incredible move. And Donnie, sticking there too until that last lap. That kept us all three up there safe and able to race for it, and that was pretty cool. Thanks to Josh, Tim, and Rodney for what they do on Thursdays here, and all the admin staff. Thank you to you all for the broadcast. Definitely like watching them back, but I like them watching them back even more when I'm winning. So that's fun. To my XFM teammates, friends, family, and everybody out there watching in YouTube land, thank you.
That's Jeremy Jeffries, brings it home tonight in P1 at Talladega Super Speedway, looking to lock himself back into the playoffs and defend his title from season 65. Congratulations on a job well done. Best of luck here in these remaining 2 weeks of the regular season.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, Jeremy. Awesome run.
Thanks. Thank you, Blaine.
Jeremy becomes the 6th different driver to go to victory lane here this evening, and he becomes the 2nd straight driver in the past 2 weeks to pick up a victory from outside of the top 20 in the point standings. Ken Roberts did it last week. Jeremy does it here tonight. Obviously, we'll be watching Jeremy in these last couple of weeks. He mathematically could point his way up into the top 12, even with his victory, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to be very interested to keep an eye on here in these final 2 races is that cut line. Bernie Mobbs sits 9th in the point standings, Bob Seminara 16th. There is only 20 points separating them in that chunk right there from just above the cut line to just below. We saw here tonight, front runners, Grant Wesley, Tim Nofsker, hit for speeding, drivers who have been running well in the point standings all season long, like Brian Schilling and Greg Palmer, caught up in incidents. It has been so flip-flop, so topsy-turvy here this season. We have seen massive jumps in the point standings and massive drops in the point standings. Nobody around that cut line seems like they are safe right now, and I think they still will continue to have that sensation when we get not only to next week, but to the regular season finale.
Well, and you look at that, Jeffries there tonight, getting the first place finish, jumped 10 spots to 17th. Crazy. So he does that again next week. Who knows, right? If he gets another 8, 9, 10 spots next week, he's clearly inside the top 12.
Yeah, he's only sitting right now 18 points below 12th in the standings. Easily could make that up and get up into the top 12 in points and point his way in, not have to rely on that wild card as well. Drivers that ran into issues here tonight, like Chuck McClure, we've documented about Brian Schilling. It's changed the top of the point standings too. Let's not forget, you win the regular season championship, you get an extra 15 bonus points towards the first round of the playoffs. And now Denny Carroll sits at the top of the standings, 6 points over McClure, 9 points over Grant Wesley. Brian Schilling, he went from 3rd down to 6th, 27 points back. So while we talk about the elevation through the standings for Jeremy Jeffries, the plummet through the standings for Brian Schilling is just as prevalent. You cannot afford a bad race between now and the end of the regular season, especially if you're like Donnie Garrett was saying, if you are big picture points racing for a playoff spot.
Not at all. It's going to be interesting to see how things are going to go.
2 races left to determine the drivers that will battle it out in the championship this season. Jeremy Jeffries, the latest driver to add his name to that list as the defending champion finds his way back to victory lane here tonight. who is going to get those final 2 victories on the season, who are going to be able to find their way up into the top 12 in points. We're going to be finding out here in these final 2 races of the regular season.
It's a new day.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
Well, thank you all for joining us here tonight. Again, as Blaine stated, the next 2 races, the final races of the regular season, they will be over on the Flat Out Racing Network only. We'll have Blaine back in the booth with us when the playoffs begin in 3 weeks' time. Looking forward to that. And we will see you guys next week for the continuation of the regular season, the home stretch of the regular season for season 66 of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series. For Blaine Dahlin, Michael Norman, I'm Seth Cole. We'll see you guys next week as you've been watching another broadcast of both Tarnation TV and the Flat Out Racing Network.